Madam Clerk?
Present. Present.
Present.
Present.
Present.
Present.
Present.
We have a special presentation this evening. I'll ask the chief to take the podium and tell us what it's all about.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to introduce Special Agent Terry Davis with the Drug Enforcement Administration, New Orleans Field Division.
Thank you, Chief. Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody, city members, citizens. I want to take this opportunity to recognize a member of the Drug Enforcement Administration family. He's a Harahan police officer, but he worked for DEA for many, many years, and we're lucky and blessed to have him as a member of our Tactical Diversion Squad. I won't take up too much of your time tonight, but I do want to give you just a brief snapshot of what we do as a Tactical Diversion Squad. By and large, we go after targets of investigation that deal in pharmaceutical drugs and that illegally distribute pharmaceutical drugs here in the greater New Orleans area, including Harahan. Our administrator of DEA worldwide has said that pharmaceutical drugs is our #2 drug threat behind cocaine, and we now have labeled it the new crack cocaine because of all the drug overdose deaths that occur around the country every year as a result. So I wanted to take this opportunity to acknowledge a member of our unit that, again, is a Harahan police officer. He was a part of an investigation that spanned about 18 months. That investigation ended up taking us all over the United States, including here in the greater New Orleans area. And as a result of his efforts, along with the other members of our Tactical Diversion Squad and the Orleans Parish District Attorney's Office, we were able to seize a little over $2 million in a case involving some members of an organization who were illegally distributing pharmaceutical drugs. As a result of those seizures, we had 5 arrests that brought about significant jail time, as well as money that was seized on behalf of the Harahan Police Department. And so tonight, I wanted to come here in person to present to the city a check from the Orleans Parish District Attorney's Office through the Drug Enforcement Administration and our squad in the amount of a little over $200,000.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me tonight.
You're welcome anytime.
Thank you. Welcome back anytime.
You might want to go straight over to the Saints camp. They're looking for a linebacker.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you having one of our guys on your task force. That's huge for us. I don't know if people are familiar with it, but what the task force is a combination of local, state, and federal agents, and they all work together, which is tremendous because you can go cross parish lines, you can use other people's resources, so it's great for a small department like us, especially when we make these big seizures and we get part of it. So thank you so much.
Thank you. $200,000 to a community like this with a $5.4 billion budget is huge.
It is.
A lot of money.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Chief, before you do your presentations, I also want to reiterate that this is the first time in Harahan's history that we've received such a large amount of money for participating in a project to keep our city safe. We're blessed to have this project, and hopefully we'll continue to participate in it through next year and the year after that, and hopefully rake in some more money. But I want to especially thank, as well as DEA, Chief Mac Dickerson, because without your efforts, we would not have had the opportunity to receive this amount of money. So
Thank you.
keep up the good work.
I wanted to mention real quick, the officer we have over there, George Cazavet, he's an incredible guy. He, in 1995, when I was a young officer, with the state police. I was assigned over to DEA, and George Cazavet was the SAC in charge of the New Orleans Field Division. So we're blessed to have him over here, Special Agent in charge. We're blessed to have him over here, and everything's going great. So thank you so much. We have some other awards we'd like to give out, Mayor. Should I do that at this time?
Please.
Sergeant David Schneider and Officer Frank Feely. Step up here, please. I would like to recognize the efforts of Sergeant David Schneider and Officer Frank Feely with the Life Saving Award. These officers were dispatched to a residence in Harahan where they encountered an individual lying on a truck seat wrapped in a blanket. Upon further investigation, these officers discovered that the individual was losing a large amount of blood due to a self-inflicted cut across the front of his neck. The officers acted immediately and decisively, securing the scene and assisting the individual until EMS arrived. Without the prompt actions of these two officers, this individual would not have succeeded with the attempt on his life. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. Right, your help. I got for y'all each. Ribbon. And David Schneider for immediate and decisive actions which resulted in life-saving of a human life. Congratulations. And also the immediate and decisive actions which resulted in the saving of a human life. Congratulations. And would Sergeant Nick Gleaver and Officer Eric Glorioso please step up? I'd like to present these officers with the Professional Excellence Award based on their outstanding duty displayed during the arrest of two armed and dangerous individuals who are wanted in a stolen car. On January 24th, armed and dangerous individuals were traveling in a stolen car into our city with ski masks and loaded guns. Within 6 seconds after entering our city, the automated license plate recognition identified their car as being stolen. Officer Gleaver and Glorioso were able to locate and attempt a traffic stop on this vehicle. The two subjects fled at a high rate of speed towards New Orleans on Jeff Highway. Ultimately, the subjects crashed on Jeff Highway and fled on foot. After a short foot pursuit, the individuals were apprehended by Officer Glorioso and Gleaver. Not only was a serious crime prevented by these officers arresting the subject, a large amount of crack and powder cocaine and two fully automatic guns were taken off the street. Officer Gleaver and Glorioso accomplished this arrest of these individuals in spite of danger and displayed a real dedication to duty for citizens of both Harahan and the neighboring communities. Thank you so much. Sergeant Gleaver, this dedication to duty displayed during the apprehension of two armed and dangerous individuals. Good work. Officer Glorioso, this dedication to duty displayed during the arrest of two armed and dangerous individuals. Good job. Mayor, if you don't mind, I'd go through the crime stats real quick.
Sure.
These are the crime stats for last month. We had 773 calls for service. Of that, 8 were accidents. We had 212 citations, a total of 270 charges, no funeral escorts, and we had 5 patrol requests. The number of arrests, we had 48. Total charges was 99. Of that, 10 were traffic, 22 were felony, 64 were misdemeanor, 3 were city. Persons and property crimes. No murders, no rapes. We did have a robbery, 5 residential burglaries, no attempted burglaries, no vehicle thefts. We had 4 larceny thefts and 11 assaults. And that concludes my report. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Chief. Before we go to address the council, I'd like to acknowledge that we have Kurt Talbot with us tonight. If you want to say anything, please feel free to do it. Councilman Paul Johnson's here. We'd like him to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council. Just want to give you an update. We go into session, I believe, Monday, April 8th. I think the big issue this time will be elimination of the income tax, which I'm sure we're all for. We just got to kind of see what the details are, see how it's going to play out, see the governor's plan. Other than that, that'll probably be the issue that dominates session the most. I was happy to assist in the $50,000 in the rural grant money. I know that came through, so I'm glad that happened.
Thank you.
And just would answer any questions if any of the council members had a question for me.
When y'all go into session, how long is it for?
I believe this year is a 60-day session.
When something comes up like this elimination of income tax, the governor doesn't give y'all any kind of information to be studying up in advance or anything like that, or you just get hammered right at the first day of session?
Well, we're hopefully he'll release the plan in the next couple of weeks. One of the issues is that they want to raise the sales tax to compensate for the $3.5 billion of corporate income tax and personal income tax money that we won't get, which is a little concerning because we're already the 3rd highest sales tax in the country if you combine the local and state average, which if we add to it will surely be the highest sales tax in the country, which is a little troubling to a lot of people. But again, you know, I'm not sure how high he wants to raise it, but you know, there's a lot of tax exemptions that we can look at. Maybe they've talked about raising the cigarette tax. Right now, I believe we're the 2nd lowest cigarette tax in the country, so maybe you could raise that to kind of make up for the loss of income.
And then the film industry as well, they get their tax credits back at the end of the year. I mean, that'd be,
Right.
kind of really key on how that's going
Right.
to play out as well.
And they've talked about severance tax on oil. They've talked about a number of different things, but I think it'd be a game changer if we could eliminate the income tax in Louisiana. I just want to do it in a responsible way that's not, you know, going to hurt us negatively or impact people on fixed incomes that, you know, may not pay an income tax if they're elderly, but they're going to get really hurt on the sales tax issue, so we don't want to do that. So, but there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's a lot of different ways we can do this. A lot of us in the House are asking the governor to please come forth with the plan as soon as possible so we can, you know, look over this before session starts.
I know Sheriff Newell Norman has a lot of concerns because he's lobbied for quite some time about raising the sales tax to 9%.
Right.
I was talking to him about it, and he said that, you know, local municipalities and even parishes,
Right.
this happens, you know, that.
It could really inhibit local government from raising sales tax or having, you know, that source of revenue stream. So we're going to have to really take a hard look at it. But it's a serious issue, and I think it's something that if we could pull this off, it could be really something really great. But again, you know, we just got to do it, devil's in the details, and, you know, we'll see what happens. Oh, no. We haven't even, we won't even go into session. They won't ring the bell until Monday, April 8th, I believe.
The bill that he's offering needs to go to committee first if they approve.
Oh, yeah. It'll go through committee, you know, as early as early April, and then it'll make its way through. But a bill like that will be passed on probably the last day of session, because it'll be tossed and turned and amended and massaged and studied and debated. So there's a long time to debate that bill. But you know, we definitely need to hear from y'all, because there's a lot of unintended consequences when you start dealing with. They have very high property taxes. Right now, you know, with our homestead exemption, we're 49th lowest in the country. So,
We try to survive on sales tax.
correct. But most of the states that have eliminated their income tax have high sales tax. We already have a high sales tax. We're number 3. So that's why a lot of us are a little reluctant to raise sales tax. But, you know, I don't think anybody wants to do away with the homestead exemption. So we're going to have to find a way to make this thing work. The amount of revenue we're losing, if you eliminate the income tax and the corporate income tax, business income tax, you're looking at about $3.5 billion. So it's a pretty big chunk of change. About 25 billion, but, right, that's a chunk. That's a chunk. So, but again, it could be done, I think. We just need to get the plan from the governor and kind of see where it takes us. Okay. Good evening. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Johnson? Thank you for the money that we received from you recently for both streets and helping with the gym equipment.
Well, I just wanted to come by and say hello. I hadn't been here in a while, and see my fellow colleagues up here, and the mayor, and all, and chief. I just want to come say hello and let y'all know that we continue to move forward with trying to help with the city. And as everybody knows, the energy over there, energy is now working on the poles. We're trying to continue with Pump to the River. It's moving forward. And also, if you notice, they have some activity going on in Mazaway Ditch, which is something else that's going to help the Harahan area and the River Ridge area. So things are moving forward. We'll be working on soon by the playground. They'll be tearing the playground up, as you know, in the next 6 months, and we'll start working from the Soniac Canal to the pump, to the new pump where we're going right behind our sewer plant. So, but we're continuing moving on, and glad I could help y'all. I'm looking forward to 2013, and if anybody has any questions, I just want to come by and say hello.
Thank you.
I got just one question for you. I'm sorry, Lawrence. The bridge, how's the bridge coming along? Is there a due date or a closure date on this thing? I mean,
The bridge is supposed to be finished June the 14th.
Do they have walking trails and all underneath it, like the picture said?
They may, I don't know.
Put a video on
I
television,
don't know.
like the park underneath.
I don't know, but they will be finished.
Hickory, when Hickory opens up, what's happening with it? I've heard a couple of different scenarios. If you don't know tonight, maybe we can get some information.
Well, we don't know exactly what's going to happen to Hickory. When Dickory opens up, as everybody knows, Hickory is going to become a back street for the businesses that they're eventually going to turn towards Dickory. And the parish will eventually take over all of Hickory as soon as they open up Dickory. And we're working with the state to make sure they do renovations as far as, when I say renovations, do drainage and,
They're going to close in the ditches,
right,
widen it a little bit.
right, they're looking at doing that. But we won't take over responsibility of that area until they finish all of Dickory up to Jefferson Highway. But it's,
That's good. What do you think, something like that, 17, 18?
I would say it's going to take another 4 years to finish Pump to the River. We won't start, the state won't start doing the Dickory area until after they finish Pump to the River. Then when the pipes are down, then they'll put the road up. So you're looking at about another 7 years, 6 or 7 years. But it's going to be nice when we finish.
More important, when is Five Guys Cheeseburger Restaurant open?
Five Guys Burger.
I talked to the Laura Sales the other day. They're working on it, and it should be soon. They have 16 new businesses opened up over there, and I don't know if you heard the last report we did with the parish to do the sales tax report, and Elmwood is up 42% in sales tax. So it's booming over the Elmwood area. It really is. But again, I just want to come by and say hello and thank y'all for giving you an update on a few things.
Thank you. I have a question for you, Councilman. At Save, we were discussing this the other day. At Save, that is a mini pump to river.
Right.
Can you give us some more information on it, let people know, and how that's going to help us?
Well, it's going to help a mile coming towards New Orleans and a mile going to Kenner. It's going to help flow that side of the highway. And it's also going to help Diane. And on the other side of the highway, we're doing some work underneath the Jefferson Highway. It's going to help on that area, too. We did some work over on Midway, and we did some drainage work and did some street repairs over there. So it's going to help the area, but it's not. What's going to help Harahan more than anything when we get Pump to the River finished. When Pump to the River gets finished and the Mazaway Ditch gets finished, they're going to close in the Mazaway Ditch.
Tell everybody where the Mazaway did.
Mazaway Ditch is by Folks, right over by the Winn-Dixie. And they're going to close in that area. I found out the other day they're going to close that in, that back part.
Do you know about when?
They're starting to work on it now. They got the machines back there.
Not the front part,
Up to Harris.
up to Harris. Okay.
They're back there right now working.
'Cause there are a lot of, back on the end of that Harrison Pass, we've got a lot of people that are losing ground, they're losing property.
Well, if they close it in, then they'll see what happens.
So it
Yeah.
flows much better, too, when it's cement, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the cement is helping out tremendously with the flow.
And by the way, thank you very much for your quick response. I had called you the other day about the colonial ditch that needed to be fixed, and the very next day it was done. So thank you very much. We're fixing to get into that rainy season, and if that's blocked up, then of course Glenwood locks up with water and everything else. Thank you very much for getting that.
We're here to help.
I do appreciate that very much. So,
Thank you all.
thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Anyone wish to address the council may do so at this time.
Good evening, Council, Mr. Mayor, Chief, Mr. Corcel. My name is Hillary Landry, candidate for Judge, Division D, Jefferson Parish. I've been here for months asking for your support, and I'm proud to say that just last week we have finally started the engine. All of the candidates, I believe all the candidates you've met have qualified for judge, and the race is set April 6th. So I have a couple of things to report, and I won't take up too much of your time. One, I am proud to report that I am the only candidate in this race with the support of all of law enforcement, including you, dear Chief, here before you tonight, and the sheriff, and every other chief of police here in Jefferson Parish. Last night, we completed that endorsement with the support of the Crime Fighters organization. I'm proud to say, after 2 swipes at it, I was successful in obtaining the endorsement of Crime Fighters of Louisiana. This is a wonderful organization, 12,500 members strong, who represents the voices of victims of violent crimes throughout the state. They're very active, they're very supportive, and I'm proud to have them tonight. I'm proud to be before you tonight to say that I have their support. Second, I have knocked doors in every precinct in Harahan, some of your precincts 2 and 3 times. And in doing so, I am happy to say I have earned the support of your civic leaders, your business owners, and most of your elected officials throughout Harahan. While I think that's all wonderful and very important, and I'm proud of it, there is no endorsement that's more important to me than the endorsement of the citizens of Harahan. And I'm before you tonight to humbly ask for your support. My election is April 6th. If you have any questions of me, you can reach me by phone. My literature is in your hallway here in City Hall. I'd be happy to take your call. You can reach me by email. That's available there as well. Thank you for your time, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for allowing us to address you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Have a good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mayor Mosca, Council. My name is John Sutterth. I'm also running for Division D, judicial candidate. I'm here tonight because I wanted you to first know that I've met many of you guys, walked many of your precincts, I've been doing it for months as well, and I intend to meet the rest of you as well. I'm here, though, to mention to you that I believe I want to talk to you about what I would expect from a judge and what I believe that you should expect from a judge for this particular division. I would first expect that our judge would have a working, practical knowledge of our Constitution, first and foremost. To that extent, I graded constitutional law bar exams for 5 years for those entering, coming out of law school and seeking admission to becoming a lawyer in our state. But more importantly, I've written and taken a writ and appeal to the United States Supreme Court on a very important constitutional issue, our Fifth Amendment right, against our government from taking our property. I also believe that our judge should have a lot of trial experience, because with trial experience, you would understand how to move a docket fairly so that our criminal victims and our civil litigants may get their chance at justice sooner rather than later. To that extent, I was a prosecutor with Harry Connick, assistant district attorney. I've tried more than 100 trials, had a 97% conviction rate. I've managed 500 cases per month, every month, while I was in the trials division. However, I was also on the public defender side of Jefferson Parish. The last 7 years, I've been an assistant attorney general with the Department of Justice, defending our state agencies. I've represented such agencies as our Superdome, UNO, LSU Medical School, our doctors, our probation and parole officers, from civil lawsuits. However, I had a private practice for 10 years where I represented plaintiffs and had trials on their behalf. I also represented defendants in civil trials and practiced in that area as well. Well, just as importantly, I also represented those that had family issues. So therefore, I also tried family law cases and had many hearings involving family law issues. And so now that I have conducted trials in all the areas and on both sides of the bar, those areas of criminal law, civil law, and family law are the areas in which our judge is going to be presiding over in Division D. And just so you know, our district court is where we do our jury duty on the West Bank side of the river. And that district court hears criminal law, civil law, and family law. And therefore, I believe that it's very important to have the trial experience in all three areas. Not just one area, not just two areas. This election is important because it's going to be a very low turnout. And according to our last couple of elections for the judges that we've voted for, they've been decided by as little as 100 votes. So your vote in particular in Harahan, River Ridge, and the area that's actually watching this is extremely important. And I humbly ask for your support, your vote. I'd be honored to be your judge. Thank you this evening, Mayor Mosca. And members of
Thank you.
council. Sorry for taking your time. I thank you as well. Thank you.
I want to thank you all for allowing me to speak tonight. My name is Lori Schlegel, and I'm the wife of Scott Schlegel. He is sorry that he could not be here tonight, but he is running for judge in Division D also. He thought who to better represent him than his other half. Scott and I have been together for over 18 years. We've been together ever since senior year in high school. As most of you know, Scott is from this area, having grown up in Harahan in the same house his parents still live in today. I can still remember picking up Scott from high school at his jobs as a waiter at Colonial Country Club and a basketball referee at Harahan Gym. Scott is and has always been proud to be from this community. I think he just recently forgave me for throwing away his Harahan Hawk Letterman pleather jacket with the JPRD patch on the side because it melted in our attic. You see, this community means something to Scott, along with every other community in Jefferson Parish. That's why Scott has dedicated himself to protecting and serving it, and he's done that very well. He was a prosecutor, one of the top leading felony prosecutors in Jefferson Parish. He's handled over 1,000 criminal cases and tried some of the toughest cases, many murderers, child offenders, and other violent offenders. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can search Scott Schlegel on NOLA.com along with all the other candidates and see the difference and see how Scott has proven experience protecting and serving this community as a felony prosecutor. But you know what? Being a good prosecutor is not what makes me proud of Scott. What makes me proud of Scott is the man he has become. Scott is a wonderful father, a devoted husband, and an overall good man. In every aspect of his life, he wants to live a life to honor God and not himself. Scott doesn't want to be judged because of the prestige of the robe, or because of money, or because he's driven by ambition. Scott wants to be judged because he feels called to serve. And he also believes in justice, right and wrong, and that everyone is equal in the eyes of the law. That's why he will play no favorites, make no deals, has no political agenda, and he's beholden to no one but the law. Scott always teaches our son to do the right thing no matter what the personal cost. And that's what Scott lives by. And that's why Scott is in this race. He is in this race because he wants to serve this community honestly, ethically, and he wants to protect it from real threats to society. And you know what? I know you're probably thinking right about now, well, you know what? That's his wife, and of course she's partial. And you'd be right, I am partial. But also the things I'm saying are true. You can ask anyone who really knows Scott, and they will tell you he is tough, but he is honest and fair. And with his qualifications and experience in the courtroom, along with his character, he will make a good, competent, and objective judge for Jefferson Parish, and I urge you all to vote Scott Schlegel for judge on April 6th. Thank you so much for all your time. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, council people, those are hard acts to follow. I don't have a $200,000 check for you, unfortunately, and I haven't arrested any felons, and I'm not a judge. My name is John Olsner, and I started a business in November called Anytime Fitness in the Colonial Shopping Center. and I'm here just to introduce myself, let you know that it's there, we're open for business, and I see several of my members here already, which I appreciate very much. I moved here in May from Minnesota, so I'm not very familiar with Louisiana or Harahan. And the gym would like to be a very functioning, active part of the community. So I'm here to say to all of you, if there's any way we can help or do anything, participate in any of the local activities, please come and see me. I'm available and very, very anxious to get involved. As far as the gym itself is concerned, I don't know if any of you or many of you have heard of Anytime Fitness, but it is the largest co-ed fitness chain in the world. We have over 2,000 gyms, and when you join one, you join all of them. So we have over 2 million members, and we're hoping to make Harahan a very, very successful and profitable gym, and it's already most of the way there. Thanks very much to all of you. So please remember again, if there's anything coming up, charity events or anything that you think we could help you with or participate with, please come by the gym and give me a chance to speak to you and see what I can do.
And that's right behind the Dollar General?
The Dollar General's at the end of the mall. We're halfway up, right beside Tuesday morning. Yeah, it's right in that shopping center.
Somebody wanted to call you.
265-0444. And I have a number of these 7-day passes with me, which will give you a 7-day membership at the gym. I'll leave them outside, I guess, on a table, and help yourself to them. And if anybody needs any for their businesses or other people and we run out, you can always drop by. Obviously, I'm more than happy to have you come to the gym, either as a member or as a guest. And thanks very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the council? Madam Clerk? I'm sorry. Oh, the best. Over there with.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. We were here last month. We're here tonight also to request a status on the Batcher, all the activities that go there. And we also have pictures of the recent fire that was back there as well. So, and should anybody want it, I also have some other information regarding the spontaneous combustion of certain cargoes that they do have stored back there. Now, this is something that I want us to pay attention to. The space between Harolene's and Oak Lawn.
Where was this at, in the front of the property or in the back?
It's on the levee. It's the entire property.
No, this.
Yeah, this specific picture with.
Yes.
It's of a fire that was in.
I'm aware of the fire. No, I'm asking where was this? No, I'm asking where it was, where exactly the fire was. Was it in the front of the front by the,
I think it involved most of the back,
Behind the levee on the Batcher?
behind the levee on the Batcher.
Yeah, but my question is, was it closer to the river or was it closer to the levee?
Involved all that area.
The entire area?
Well, it appeared with the smoke.
The fire itself, the visual fire could be considered a little bit closer to the levee, but it was pretty much central to that. If you go back and you look at the piles is Robert can tell you, and anybody else.
And just a quick question, this was taken from the levee?
Yeah.
This was taken from the levee? I was just curious as where it was taken
The
from.
trees that are in between.
Yeah, I was just curious.
And the fire department did respond that.
Yeah, there's pictures of the fire department in the shop.
I have also some.
Very much I could say they left out of there in lickety fashion.
What started the fire, or is it spontaneous combustion? Is that such a thing?
Well, I've observed.
Some kids throwing matches, or?
Two substances back there. One is manure, another one is.
Why don't you go where the microphone is?
Yeah, thank you. I've observed back there in the Batcher two substances that are widely known for spontaneous combustion. One is the manure that they're using directly for compost, and another is a product called corn gluten pellets. Now, I work on the river. I see this fairly frequently where they're transporting this cargo and it gets wet and it spontaneously combusts. I have some information regarding this substance and all the storage guidelines. Well, I feel that the storage guidelines for these substances are not being followed. And I think that
What type of fumes?
it depends on the day. It can smell.
Fire, and this is burning with these combustible elements. Is this harmful?
Yes. Particulate matter, it's the gases that are in it itself, and I don't know what mold is built up, and
This is not the first time it's happened.
we've been told that it happened several times already. And I have smelled the soot from the fires as they had been put out, but this is the one that I had observed directly.
I've been out there for a fire, and the fire department believes when I was there that it was not spontaneous combustion. The operators came out, dug into the mulch, and they said it was not hot underneath. They believe that the fire was started from, kids or something, so they believe.
Professionals.
Right, so I'm just listening to them. I mean, so they believe it was not spontaneous combustion. They put the fire out, they doused it with water. Guys came out with an excavator, dug it up to make sure it was not heat underneath, to make sure it was not going to reignite. And that's the only fire I was aware of. I mean, I don't know if this is the same day. I don't have the date. But as far as I'm concerned, the fire department told me it was not spontaneous combustion because I asked that question.
That goes back to the proper storage then.
Well, they're not following any standards that are federally mandated for the storage of wood chip or woody debris or manure or gluten feed, which
Whose standard?
these are, I looked up, we have standards from the Northwest in the logging industry.
Okay, that's
And also-
Northwest, that's not here then.
That is true.
But again, it's not supposed to be done, period.
Aware of that.
And it's not only for the Northwest, there's standards for composting in any kind of region. If you're in, whether you're in Colorado or here or anything else, there's understandings around what happens with compost, because if you're composting, whether it's wood chips or food, or whatever debris, that the type of, there's height that you have to follow, there's turning specifications, there's actual safety guidelines for the workers and for the materials handling and for everybody who's going to be exposed because of the mold, fungicides, the bioaerosols, the spontaneous combustion elements that can happen. And that's all known.
Jamie, I want to know, did we ever get the DEQ report that we could read? We got some sort of report from the DEQ, but we couldn't read it. Did we get a legible DEQ report, Mayor?
I thought I
fires
saw
with-
one and
with
said
fume-
everything was
Well,
fine.
I'm getting really concerned with the fire, if there's going to be fires back there with the fumes, with my children around there too, for myself.
I seen a report from the DEQ.
Did you read it?
Yeah, well, you could read the top. You couldn't read a statement on who did it. But the problem was, we don't know what they're inspecting. And I've had Mr. Charlet call and left numerous messages for the DEQ to contact us when they were going back there to do the inspection. And either he or someone from the city was gonna go back there to represent, to make sure they're inspecting where the stuff's stored. If they're going back there and inspecting a little storage spot to the left, it's spotless.
If they need a
I don't know
citizen
where they're
representation.
inspecting. We've made that phone call numerous times. I know Jeff sent emails, and I'm gonna follow up with him and find out what's going on, because we have not got to respond back to see where they're doing their reports at.
When I reported it to LTEQ and asked for, and made, an official report, one of the things you can do is anonymously or not. And one of the things about it supposedly is by not doing it anonymously, is that therefore they would contact, me and you, and that there would be an actual official, escort, and you guys would be able to verify where this was happening. Because on the Jefferson Parish side, which is where the application and everything that's shows the maps, except for the one they sort of stuck in there that shows for pit 3, which is on the Harahan side, but it doesn't match what their documentation says. And I agree. And so when I called them, they were saying, oh yeah, that's how the standard is, they'll call. But it sounds like all their inspections are on the Jefferson Parish side, where they've got everything lined up, it's all set up the way that it's supposed to be under the application. But everything on the Harahan side is just a random kind of, we did emergency debris, we got it sort of under that, and now we're continuing to do trees, recycling, brush, we see people carrying stuff back, and you go back and we've got pictures, it's not just Christmas trees or the emergency debris from Isaac. I mean, they just keep hauling stuff back there, and people are traveling in there with flatbeds and doing stuff. It's pretty, I think you guys should be aware of it, and nobody is talking to you, except for us and other residents.
I agree. I mean, I believe that DEQ did not follow back with us, and I'll have them check into that.
You know why this business has not applied for a permit to do this mulching in our city?
We don't allow, at this point in time, mulching within our city.
What'd you say?
We don't have a permit to do that. We don't provide a permit to do that.
There would be no.
So they're doing something in our city that we wouldn't need to give them a permit. We don't give permits to do that in our city.
No, in other words, we would not allow that. If they came for a permit to do that, we would tell them we don't allow it.
So if we don't allow it and they're doing it in our city and we didn't give
Well,
them
when
a
you say they're
permit,
doing it in our city,
why wouldn't we do a stop work order?
well, now you get in terms of jurisdiction. What jurisdiction do we have when the federal government has given them permits to do this?
Against our laws.
It's actually only the state.
And it says in that thing, you have to follow local municipal codes.
Yeah, and that's correct. One of the things about the paperwork is you guys can see if you're, well, that LDEQ, if you can open it up. If you can't, then just holler and I'll make everybody a copy. But the piece in there is it says that they have to follow federal, state, and local law. And the local doesn't get trumped by the feds or the state. And one of the things that's not very clear is that they've only got state and that they got the federal only for the emergency debris removal, which is what your concern was, Mayor, and everybody else, is they sort of did this emergency debris removal sort of sneak thing where they said, oh, let's help you out. Let's take the emergency debris from everybody's houses, which was great, because it moves it faster. But then what they had always planned and had in place is this composting arrangement with their partner.
Laughing Buddha.
And it's a gardening center or something like that. So, and Pierce Wood even talked about it because we said something when we found the cow manure back there and said something to Pierce at the time when he was still talking to us, back before we found that. And it was one of those things like, what are you doing? And he told us about his plan, like this big composting operation. We're going, are you kidding? Harriet's not gonna agree to that. And it was like, well, and we have the Jefferson side, and there's nothing back here, nobody can smell it. And then that was back in April. They submitted all their applications in December of 12. April, the article got written and printed, and then in August, the emergency debris removal situation occurred, and since then, they've been full on with that composting thing.
Yeah, this is something that you and me disagree on, and certainly, with all due respect, our regulatory court was operating like it was set up to do.
It's not operating yet.
Not anymore. It
No.
was operating.
Well, it wasn't operating when this was going on.
I understand.
But what we've done is we've hired an attorney.
We could bring them in to our regulatory court, and if
Well,
they fight us, they fight
What the
us.
city has done is it hired an attorney to draw up a regulatory code that would be enforceable through our courts. We're paying him to do this. I would hope it would be ready soon. Have you talked to him lately? The last time I talked to him, he said it was almost completed. Once he completes it, it comes to us, we read it, we put it into an ordinance, we vote on it. Once we vote on it, then we can establish the protocol to go in and put a stop work order or whatever it is that we do.
Our existing regulatory laws have to be put in a court. They're not strong enough to.
We don't have them. We created them right now. Tommy,
We
and
have
Selma.
regulatory laws.
I'm sorry?
We have regulatory laws.
We do have regulatory laws, right, but we're fitting them to go into a regulatory court that we can handle. Right now, if we were to put a stop work order on this, it would go to Jefferson Parish, 24th Judicial District Court. And now, who's going to pursue that?
Why would it go that if our court was open?
It
was.
Yeah, I think the issue was, and this came up when I was actually sitting as a manager for regulatory court. That's kind of one of the ones that talked about it. We have some mechanism to bring them here. Problem is when we tell somebody to do something, they say no. That's the part that wasn't addressed. And that's what the attorney that we hired is supposed to do.
Be able to enforce it.
We did have fines in the. What you can do if they didn't pay the fines.
So admittedly, our law was antiquated on our side, and that was. I had that discussion.
Just as a citizen, I'd be really frustrated. There's something wrong and anything.
Well, we are doing things, it's just that unfortunately the bureaucracy, it works real slow. Now, in addition, I've contacted the levy board, and they have a better jurisdiction than we do over what's going on. Captain Bob Gardner is the one who I've spoken to, who is monitoring the situation. In fact, I believe he's done 2 air studies, which have come back negative.
Negative mean that air quality's fine.
Right. I just don't know until we get our ordinance in place, what it is we want to do. For example, I mean, you may not want to permit this, but other people may want to permit it with safeguards because of the taxation. So we certainly want to protect the life and quality of our residents. But, for example, right now, I'd tell Jeff, go put a stop work order over there. They're not going to stop work. They're not going to stop work. We have no, in other words, we can't go arrest them. We can file a suit. Now, does the city want to get involved?
That goes to Jefferson Parish?
Right. Do we want to get involved economically with the suit at this time, or do we want to keep monitoring the situation, hopefully try and mediate it so it doesn't escalate until we get something in place? That's what we're trying to do. Now, you know, there's nothing to stop a citizen from filing a lawsuit. They're welcome to do so. If it was me, as a citizen, I wouldn't do it because it's too expensive. But citizens are allowed to do that.
But as you know, I think I may have talked to Harvey and talked to the mayor about it. If collectively we wanted to file a lawsuit, you know, and I've reported this, I've looked at the zoning ordinance, it's not a permitted use.
I'm sorry, what was that last you said?
It's not a permitted use.
What's going on, it's not a permitted use on that zoning ordinance.
Exactly.
In order for us to enforce it, we'd have to file conjunctive, we file the 24 JDC.
And we have to put up a bond.
You do have to post a bond. And the only thing that I heard mentioned, there are issues when you're talking about federal laws versus local laws. There are preemption issues. I talked to each one of you about it. The Commerce Clause is the most important clause that I get concerned about. I'm not saying we would be wrong in filing a suit. I'm not saying we'd be right. But I would want to do, and I have done it, and I've looked at it. But if you stop someone from commerce, and from doing their business, and we're wrong,
Their appellate court would be Jefferson Parish. They get,
I would anticipate they would bring suit against us if they wanted to. I said, I would anticipate that they would probably, their attorneys would want to say to us, hey, guys, we're making this amount of money. And if you shut us down, we're gonna fight you if we will, if you pay us back. That's not to say we lose, I'm just saying, those are the issues that.
they have deep pockets, John.
Litigation, we're talking about someone who may be doing, business, and who's gonna claim that they have a license, but it's not permitted in Harriman. It is not. So I would feel okay.
There was a big fight 10 years ago about the Badger. Made it to PO.
Talking about down the river, oh, no, right here.
Down a River Ridge, and then we had a fight with PO over here.
I think that might have been the longest law case that Jefferson Parish has ever
They
had.
settled it like 20 years later for,
I think it was almost 20 years it went. I don't know what the attorney's fees were.
should have settled the first day, would have saved many.
My
That's a good explanation.
concern,
I've never heard that explanation. I appreciate it.
my concern is air quality, nuisance. I can only go by right now what I'm being told by the levy board, which is the testing they've done recently doesn't indicate harm.
I don't smell it, but the smoke would really.
I mean, this smoke.
Awful in the smoke. And also you live close by with your new children.
Can I add something to it as well?
Can she come up to the mic?
Sure.
I'm sure a lot of people can't hear her.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you'll need to come up because it's hard for others to hear.
Just trying to shout. One, you're absolutely right about the commerce piece, so I will say, because the research that I've been doing as well has that in there.
And I'm not saying we would be.
No, no,
I'm saying
exactly.
It is something that, as my duties to them, is to say, let me just tell you the good and bad.
Right.
The good is, we're 100% right, it's not permitted use.
Yes.
It's not a permitted use under our zoning. One would say very, very candidly or simply, hey, we can file a lawsuit against them, give them stop. That's actually not completely true.
Mhm.
Because, as you know, and I know what you're talking about, there are federal laws that can preempt the commerce clause, one of those that causes all city attorneys, everywhere, parish attorneys, a little bit of caution before we proceed in shutting down someone who may be doing a lot of business. And I don't know what they're doing, I really don't know if they're making.
Well, the piece that also applies to that too, and that's how Harahan got into a little bit of trouble on one of their lawsuits, the long one, was because they did want to shut it all down. And it is a federal piece that it's commerce by the river. The rivers are controlled by the feds, and the commerce piece of it was there. I said, but nobody is asking for them to shut down all their operations. And the operation that was supposedly the only one approved back there, federal, state, local, is the sand pits. And that's bad enough. I said, but the extent to which they have jumped into this composting operation, which actually doesn't appear to have, seems to have only one little window of state approval, and all these other things are sort of being glossed over, the local and even some of the federal oversight and the regulations that are supposed to follow. That's what I want to point out is going on, too. Yeah. Yeah.
We wouldn't be telling them they can't work, we'd just be saying they couldn't compost.
Okay.
I think we'd still be sued.
Oh, well, yeah. I said, I think that that's a
But
reason.
they have to understand, and, you know, with the budget that we have, cost is always a concern, safety is primary.
Mhm.
So that's a decision for these guys, and I'm comfortable filing a lawsuit if that's the decision they made. I'm not saying that it is or would not be premature at this point. I think they're trying to work it out. I know the regulatory director is involved. I just don't know if they'll reach a resolution. It may end up that it's a lawsuit.
Yeah, and one of the options for them is to actually go where the composting was originally set up, which is down by that strip that's down by power line, and, you know, actually move their operations there where it's originally, supposedly, the application was approved. Right, exactly. And then they could do the sand pit operation, still have money coming in, and we can deal with the fact that they don't ever turn their sprinklers on as another little thing. Yeah, there you go. That's a little bit easier than a bunch of smell and so forth. And the last thing I want to add is we've actually run into runners, and there's a couple of them who said that if you guys need it, they would write some letters to you, because the runners, there's several of them now who avoid running up on the area that they used to run all the time, because in the mornings, in particular, people don't notice it maybe coming out of their home because they're not running at 5 a.m. in the morning or 6 a.m. or late in the evening. At those times, when you've got that heavy humidity that's coming in over those composts, that smell is so tremendous that you guys should explore the levee at those times and really see how heavy that actual mold, mildewy, tree, bark smell is, and that the one woman said she can't do it because she just makes her gag. So they said if you need that we can actually apply to some of the people that have running groups or runners that go there, and they would be glad to help out that way. And thank you for the information and the update. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for being patient. At some point, it's going to escalate and things are going to happen. I guess we'll talk to Tommy Anselmo, see where he is. Why don't we get Captain Gardner to come in and talk? I think he would. Let's call the levee board. Remember to call the levee board? See at the next meeting we can get a representative to come in and give their interpretation.
Just so you know,
Huh? Yeah, he would.
I talked to Pierce Wood in a lengthy little conversation we had, and I guess I'm going to paraphrase what he said. From what I understand, they're supposed to, because of so much, turmoil over where it is, they're supposed to be moving these pits back towards Jefferson Parish. I don't know where it's going or what it's at. I mean, that was the plan that we talked to, and I just asked him, man, let's do some serious air quality tests, and let's see the reports. And I didn't know that the levee district was doing reports too, but he said that they're working on it. As a matter of fact, I talked to Councilman Murray, and they did one last week. And they're supposed to be doing a couple of more, just because my concern was, I can't smell it, but my concern was the mold, and I just wanted to make sure that air is safe. And I mean, it's such a quality of life issue that it's kind of important. And so we're waiting to see. I mean, I'll stay in contact with him if I don't see nothing happening over the next week or two. And but he was very cordial, very nice to talk to, and I just hope that somehow, some way, we can work out something between everybody, because I've been up there with you and I've smelled the smell, and so, but even at Jefferson Parish, when they move it right over the Power Line Drive, just so you're not that far from there either, and runners are going to run right past it again.
There's a deeper issue here, though. If that's the case, I can go open up a fireworks store on the corner here. You tell me I can't do it, there's nothing you can do.
But the other issue is, and this is the one, is they actually have an appropriate setup.
I mean, so if we need to
So
get
we're
the new
hoping
laws
that
written
they
quickly, if
actually,
that's the case.
from what I understand,
Then
they're
over
going to
ballroom,
start
do the same thing.
following
It's the
those
same issue.
guidelines, just because we can't approve what they're doing. So it's tough, and just so you know, I know we've talked a lot, and I've been there to smell it, but Harahan says such a small budget and such a small community, and it becomes an issue, of tax dollars as well. And I hate to put it that way, but it's hard for us to run any business out of here. And if they can just, comply to what is comfortable for all of the residents around, I mean, it's always going to be an asset to have a business that can generate tax dollars. I'd just like them to, make the smell go away, do what they got to do, figure it out, do the reports they got to do to make sure that the area is safe. And
But one of the things that came up at the last meeting, which was one of the things that was supposed to be followed up on this one, is actually whether you guys are getting any revenue from
Right.
it, because there was some question there, and I think you brought it up, as whether they actually were.
we're working on getting it now. We're working on getting all the information now. It's just bureaucracy, like the mayor said, and we'll get there. We're gonna get there.
If the levee district comes back and says the air quality report would be unhealthy for the citizens, I believe they would shut them down immediately.
Yes.
We have never had an air quality report come back saying it was unhealthy. Our number one thing is going to be the health of the citizens.
The problem with the air quality report is the way that you guys are addressing it is it's not actually an air quality report that actually will tell you what you need to know. An air quality report of the type you're talking about is if you have a container.
Depends what time to do it, too.
Well, you can do it still. I said, but one of the things you're talking about is what you have is coming in, over, and out. It's more like particulate matter, allergens, you got your bioaerosols, but you've got you can go on a day, depends on what day you're testing, that you're gonna have it because you have an open air compost field that then blows over your area. So it depends on how actively engaged in the scientific inquiry you are
Right, and that's above and beyond me. But I need to depend on the DEQ and levy district to handle that. That's a step above and beyond me. I know. I can't run them tests.
Mr. and Mrs. Hill, I've also been in contact with Mr. Strad. I have not talked with Mr. Pierce, but I have talked to Mr. Strad. And they have assured me that they are trying to work on it. They've gotten me some information that I'm dealing with, that I'll be sharing with the colleagues and seeing what we have going. So we're all very concerned about this issue. We want to make sure that we're doing the right thing for both our citizens and for our commerce and what we need to do back there on the Badger. So we're all very concerned about it. We're all working for it. It will take some time, though, to sort everything out, so that maybe we can come to some amicable decisions and laws that will help all concerned.
But I
We
think the
truly-
consensus is if we can get them to move on the other side of Hickory, we would all be happy.
But Mr. and Mrs. Hill, we appreciate immensely you bringing this to our attention. I mean, you're looking out for yourselves, your family, and the welfare of our city and all of our citizens, and we appreciate it. Your due diligence is outstanding. Your research and the time you've taken, so we appreciate that as a city, and we thank you for your patience, and we apologize for the bureaucracy and this time that it's taken. I feel like we don't have the answers that you deserve tonight, and hopefully we can get what you need, and we can get to the bottom of this very soon. Thank you for your patience.
Well, I'll just be here next month, like you guys.
Due diligence, right. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys know how exhausting it is. Okay.
But our city has historically, from time to time, dealt with a wide array of issues on the Badger, caustic issues. The federal government is the best tool we have if they would step in. They have done that in the past, and they took an operation that was back there in which they were dumping caustic materials into the river. People ended up going to jail over it. But it's a nonstop situation. It's the river, commerce on the river, the different smells that come through from the chemicals that are being taken. I mean, it's bizarre. You will find this area has the most cancer of any area proportionate to its size. Why is that? Got to be because of the stuff going down the river, coming through.
I hear the guys in my house on the river,
Yeah.
on the barges working. As well as I hear people, you also smell things going out, and I'll ask my husband, what the heck is that? And then if you go outside, you can hear that swish of that tanker going by, which just takes time.
All right, Madam Clerk. Approval of minutes.
Motion.
Motion by Bodie to dispense with the reading of the minutes, second by Murray. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? 5 yeas, no nays. Motion to approve those minutes by Bodie, seconded by Hewitt. All in favor?
Okay.
Any opposed? 5 yeas, no nays. Communications, no one met this month. Resolutions, Madam Clerk? All right, ordinances for approval, both are going to be deferred. Why don't you read the title only?
Ordinance number one for approval, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 1402, which amended ordinance number 53, sewage district number 1 of the city of Pasadena, which amended ordinance number 481 of the city of Pasadena, and ordinance number 26, section 1, sewage district number 1 of the city of Pasadena, Harahan Municipal Code, chapter 22, article 2, division 2, user charges, section 22-46, schedule and change, providing for a change of user charges for services rendered by the said sewage district. And ordinance number 2, an ordinance within ordinance number 1333, section 18, subsection E, exceptions and modifications to use regulations of number 3.
All right, taking these two ordinances in global, there's a motion to open them up for public hearing. This to both by Bodie, second by Murray. All in favor? Any opposed? Anyone wishing to address either one of these ordinances are welcome at this time. Step forward. Motion to close the public hearing by Landry, seconded by Chatelain. All in favor? Any opposed? Any discussion? Hearing none. This is a motion by Murray to defer ordinance 1, seconded by Hewitt. All in favor? Any opposed? 5 yeas, no nays. And there's a motion by Murray to defer ordinance 2, seconded by Landry. All in favor? Any opposed? 5 yeas, no nays. Ordinances for introduction, there are none. Any old business? Any new business? Any address to council? Secretary's report.
Secretary's report for January 2013, revenues of $1,810,136.76.
Reports. Reports, Council Landry.
Yes, sure, I just wanted to, caught me off guard there, man, we went fast with that last section. Well, the Dad's Club has an annual fish fries. We have our first one tomorrow, which you guys can hear about it. But the second one's gonna be March 1st. That's at the cafeteria at St. Rita School. We have the drive-through, have shrimp and fish. It's great. The money goes to a good cause. Come see us. It's supposed to be out 15th year. Get Paul to serve you, because he's got a big hand. We always got to give too much more fish. 5 o'clock. Stop at 8. $10 a plate. We lost money like that. It's working though. It is. It is.
And they have cheese pizza for the kids.
Oh yeah, those kids have pizza if they want that.
You can eat in the cafeteria or you can get it to go.
Drive-throughs real fast. 5 to 8. Oh, and I wanted, I'll say one more thing. My wife puts on a father and daughter dance at St. Rita every year. It's the 6th year. And she works her butt off doing it. It's always a great success. We had 120 couples this year. It's really nice. Council Chalet, Council Bodie was there. The fathers have gotten in the last couple of years really into it, wearing suits and buying massages for their little girls. They go out to eat beforehand. But my wife does a tremendous job on it. It's been a big success. And thank you, baby. I love you.
Councilman Brody.
I just wanted to thank Lawrence Landry's wife, Marnie, for putting on a dance. It was incredible. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and you guys have a good night.
Councilman Shelley.
I just want to let y'all know Jefferson Transit stopped by. They got some new bus routes, times and schedules for the bus. They have some papers behind in the back of City Hall to leave out there. Y'all can stop by, pick that up. If y'all have any concerns, any questions, feel free to call me. Stop by City Hall, come see us. I'm interested in trying to help anybody, whatever we can do to try to help out. Stop by the playground. There's a lot of kids, a lot of activity going on. If we get the weather hold up, we'll play some soccer. So far, I think every practice was canceled. But that's about it. Thank y'all.
Councilman Shelley, that's a good point. If you go to the website, you can email us through the website. You can call City Hall, they will get us a message if you need to talk to us. But I do get emails through the website. It's not all.
Thank you.
Thank you. My report is mostly alerting the citizens or informing the citizens that the council is getting ready to make a very important decision on how we're going to handle our sewer plant, its operation, its maintenance, its repairs. Right now, we take in money from a millage for sewage, as well as service charges that are on our citizens' water bills. When you combine both of those, we bring in about $425,000 a year to run our sewer plant. Right now, we spend between $552,000 and $629,000 to run the plant, including repairs, maintenance, whatever it takes to run the plant. So obviously there's a shortfall. The money we bring in through village taxes, which is on your property, and service charges, which are your water bill combined, don't fit to run our plant. We spent last year $138,000 on repairs to the plant. Now that's separate from running the plant. We should be making more repairs to the plant, but we don't have the money to fund the repairs. Now, the state understands the predicament that cities have in trying to run their sewer plants. So they set up a special fund where they allow municipalities to borrow money at an extremely low interest rate of below 1% interest rate for 10, 20, 30 years to borrow a sum of money. Canada just went through this, and I think they borrowed $20 million. We have had 3 studies done of what it would cost to fix our sewer system, have it running efficiently, being maintained by the money that the people have to put up for taxes. And the general consensus is that we need the city needs $7 million to fix its plants. And what do I mean by fix? Every single pipe in the city would be relined because they're deteriorating. It's been years and years and years, and now when someone's toilet backs up, they call up the city. We go down there, we shoot a camera through there, and the pipe is deteriorated, so we gotta replace it. Costs money. And if we would get ahead of the situation by trying to reline all of our pipes, then it would be a lot easier for us to disconcert ourselves with maintaining the plant. I was able to go to the state in Baton Rouge recently, and I inquired about the loan, and they would approve the city of Harahan, they would approve the city getting a $4 million loan, which we have to pay back over, say, 20 to 30 years, we decide. The problem is that they won't give us the money until we tell them how we're gonna repay it on a monthly basis. Because right now, we have no money to borrow, to pay back this loan. So, investigating the other municipalities, they have each area in close proximity to Harahan, for example, Kenner, Oswego, Gretna. They're suffering from the same predicament. What they chose to do was to raise service charges on the water bill, either monthly or bi-monthly, to help pay for the needed repairs in their cities. The last time that Harahan has amended or increased its sewer fees was in 2003, 10 years ago. Now, some people say, well, what have you been doing the last 10 years? Other people say, well, you haven't had a tax increase, I like that. The problem is, we're set in 2003 of charging our citizens $1.20 bi-weekly. It would be $2.40 per 1,000 gallons of water. Now, to give you an example, it's kind of hard to understand this, but to give you an example, Kenner right now charges $6.51 a month. Oswego's charging $709 a month. Kenner's charging, Brett is charging $10 a month. Harahan is at $525 a month.
That's minimum, correct?
Minimum. And the minimum is an important word because we have fewer residents in Oswego and Gretna. And so, the totals become a smaller total of money to spend on our plan. So, the council is going and discussing amongst themselves, do we do bring it to the vote of the people, try and raise the millage, or do we do service charges? Is it response to me? We were elected to fix a problem, and fixing the problem to me is black and white. You're bringing in 300,000, you're spending 500,000, you're not spending it because you're giving it away. Every dime is audited because we get federal money. So all the money we spend is documented for a lift station's out of order, or this line broke, or the belt press broke. I feel like rodeo. But the bottom line is, we need to fix it, and we're gonna fix it, and there's gonna be a lot of discussion, I'm sure. So I'm thinking along the lines of, do we wanna set something up at the gym for a discussion with the people? Would you prefer, just do it here and have it come to council? I think the worst thing that could happen is you as responsible council will do the right thing. It increases to how it should be, and then we get criticized for it because no one knew about it. I want to make sure that our citizens are aware.
Well, we have been talking about it for the last 3 months. I understand that people know. I think most people in Harahan are pretty intelligent people. And if you're losing $200,000 a year on your water system, and it's me too, it's our money and your money, it just doesn't make sense. And we're talking really a small amounts of money. Talking like $2 or $3 more a month up in there somewhere. It's not big money. But we have to keep the sewer system going.
Right, yeah.
I know we've been talking about this for a few months, but have you vetted through or looked at how much we would have to increase, 25%, 50% to cover this 204,000 shortfall? And also, if we do this $4 million loan at a 1%, what
To get
does
the
that
loan and to make up the shortfall, we have to increase it 50%.
Which would make it what? Which would make it what now?
They were bringing $300,000 for a year.
Per month. Hourly average. I know that depends how much you use.
520.
I have a single person's water bill right here. They use 6,000 gallons. Their sewer usage fee is the minimum, $10.50. So we raise it 50%, I mean, it's $5.25, so it'd be $15.75 on a sewage fee. Now, I have a family of 4. I have a sprinkler system that's on this.
Right.
That's every 2 months.
2 months, right.
2 months. I have a family of 4. We use 39,000 gallons. My sewer usage fee is $39.78. So it bumped me up $20 every 2 months.
That's right.
Every 2 months. So it bumped me up $10 a month. I know some people on a tight budget. I mean, bottom line is, we need the money for the sewer plant. But without the money at the sewer plant, we're gonna have problems, and we're gonna keep going back.
You think you're upset when the water gets high in your street?
until
Let
sewage.
that poop come out that toilet.
That's just, I just wanted to break, that's
Everybody
just an
does that.
example. I mean, some people don't realize how much water they use, but a single person's water bill, I'm not gonna say any names, but they use the minimum, and they get charged for 6,000 gallons, and the minimum fee is $10.50.
Councilman Shannon, you have a pool, sprinkler system.
Right.
Correct.
4 people living in your home,
And
and
young
it's
kids, too.
$39 every 2 months?
Sewage fee is $39.78 every 2 months.
We're thinking we would have to go up by 50 to cover the shortfall and the $4 million loan.
And I'm not proud to say, my family does not conserve water. I mean, a lot of people, kids,
The
sprinklers,
system is
everything.
old. It's carrots out of pipe. I mean, it's not our fault it's like that. It just is a fact. Somebody thought the terracotta pipe was going to be a good solution back in the day, but
It was.
That's all they had.
That's all they
back
had.
all the roots have went through it, and they
He was
cracking
not-
up, and the ground subsiding. It is what it is, but it has to be fixed.
Well, you have to remember too, on your tax bill, of the millage that you pay, we pay the sewer millage for construction and maintenance. The average is, thanks to research by Mayor Ferrera, the average is about $22 to $30 on everybody's tax bill a year. Now,
Makes $2 a month, $2 to $3 a month.
right. Now, some areas pay more, the Pure Woods pays more, Harahan Oaks pays more, but
I understand.
if you look at the water bill, people think that's a better, more fair way to do it, because you're paying for what you use. Paying on the water bill what you use. And a lot of people do pay the minimum. So we got to, I think, double it up and try and make our citizens understand that we want to make sure that our sewer plant functions properly. And we've been blessed for the last few years. Mayor Johnson remembers when EPA came down here, they put an order on us. I think that was in '96 or something. And we had to struggle for 10 years with that. And then they relieved us of that. So we're not under any mandate from the federal government right now. Excuse me, like Canada was. But anybody have any other comments?
We'll discuss it next month. Discuss it next month, that's fine.
Do it?
We'll discuss it next month.
Yeah, sure. Councilman Murray?
Thank you. Mayor, I got a letter from an individual this last month, and it was about Harahan code violations. I'm going to give this to you and just tell you that I received some pictures of it. It's the Burger King, and this is the back of the Burger King, where they have all the open electricals coming to it, feeds to it, and it is all open. This is another home, 6441, backyard, trash. We have that house on Jefferson Highway just before, Winn-Dixie, that's right, Winn-Dixie, that is in very much disarray, and probably if it blew too hard, the wind blew too hard, it might come down. There's some sign violations, and I think we had talked to this man, and you had given him a month to do that, to get it down. It's still up. And I think there's some issues back on Faith Lutheran, that there's some trees growing. So these are some of the things that they have sent me that we need to take care of. If I can give it to you, I don't have a copy of it, but we need to get those to Jeff and see what it's about. Can you put a copy in my box for me, so I'll have a copy of it? Also, for property owners that received a letter on repetitive losses, if you're not sure what that repetitive loss is and what it means to you, please call Mr. Charlet and let him explain that to you. I'm not going to go into great detail. Most of us who already know that we are a repetitive loss person understand it, but there may be some who are not. That means we flood too often, of which my house floods. And unfortunately, I was not in the category because it was 10 years and 3 months, not 10 years. So I had 3 losses with a very large amount of loss at my house, but it was 10 years and 3 months, not 10 years or less. So we were not eligible for any of that. And also, from what I understand, they're fixing to change the flood map, and so that's gonna change. It's gonna be taking a bunch of people out of out of X and put them into AE and so forth. So that's gonna be changing, which will probably be changing our flood insurance, which will, hopefully, it's going to be a good thing for a lot of us, that we should find a little bit better premium, or a little bit lower premium, hopefully, on our properties, especially those of us who are south of Jefferson Highway. I want to congratulate, the chief's not here though, but I want to congratulate him and his department for a fine job that they have done on getting the monies in. I'm sure they'll be using that wisely. I feel there's probably stipulations to that money too as to how it needs to be spent. Mr. Talbot was here, Representative Talbot was here, and I think now also Councilman Johnston's here. And I told the city about this before. We have a hole that is up at Glenwood at Jefferson Highway on the west side of the new house that they're building, and there is a cone stuck down in it. It is where the culverts meet, and they have separated. And it's a hole covered with grass. I was walking the dog one day and I almost stepped in it. So I had called, they put that cone in. So we need to see about getting that fixed. That's definitely a hazard. And just see what they can do, maybe what Councilman Johnson can do about the issue. Anyway, happy St. Patty's Day to everybody. Have a nice evening. Thank you. I'm finished.
Councilman Hewitt? Madam Clerk?
Council paid the bills in January 2013 in the amount of $842,539.90.
Motion by Landry, second by Bojay. To adjourn, all in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas.
All right.